Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Gratitude Summit. This is our first episode, a video series for better mornings. I'm Emily Silva, the author of Sunrise Gratitude, and today I'm speaking with Sarah Gregg. She's a Northern Irish girl with a huge passion for unlocking human potential. She's a member of the British Psychological Society, a certified life coach, a business coach, and a certified neurolinguistic programming practitioner. Sarah prides herself on her professional advice and coaching. She has had a diverse career during which she has worked with hundreds of individuals and businesses, big and small, from large corporate clients to startups and entrepreneurs. The common thread that runs through her career is her passion for helping people realize their potential. At the end of 2016, she took a bold leap into the unknown, practicing what she preaches. She went after her own goals and established the power to reinvent. She's also the author of Find Your Flow, and she is a friend. And I'm so excited to introduce to you Sarah Gregg. Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
I'm so great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I know. I love our chat so much.
So, like I said to everyone, you wrote this beautiful book, Find Your Flow, and I've actually been using it this year because my word for the year is flow. And this has really helped me with my morning routine because I think our books kind of go hand in hand because Sunrise Gratitude is actually the first step in Find Your Flow. But before we get into your book, I want to know about your morning routine.
Yeah, great question. Well, my morning routine looks very different from the way that it did before. So my morning routine before I even got into journaling or even structuring my mornings was wake up, check my phone, read some emails, scroll through social media, get lost in like all the funny, hilarious videos, and then start my day just being swept up by other people's priorities, listening to other people's thoughts before first considering my own, and just kind of immersing myself in this whirlwind of a busy life. And of course, you read that a lot of successful people have a strong morning routine, but I would give myself those excuses. Well, I'm not a morning person. I don't think I can get up at that time. I really don't have time in the morning. But now my mornings look so different. And I really understand why so many, successful entrepreneurs, authors, people who are happier structure their mornings in a really meaningful way. So in the morning now, when I get up, I make my coffee, I use the journal system for flow, I do a bit of meditation. In the summer, I'm based here in Copenhagen at the minute. I've started to just jump on my bike and have a cycle down to the harbour and go for a swim in the morning. And it's really just, the mornings are my sacred time. They're just my place before the world and other people and obligations and deadlines, hit my mind and I have to face those things. It's just my time to ease myself into the day. And I notice that when I stick with my morning routine, I'm happier, I'm more purposeful, I live with more intention. At the times, inevitably, because we're not going to get it right every single morning, when I may be a little bit busy and I take a couple of days off, I really find that it takes time away and it takes energy away whenever I don't invest in those mornings. So it really is giving yourself the gift of time, I think, if you can structure your morning and start your day off on the right note.
So how long has it been since you made that shift into becoming a morning person?
I'd say since 2016, the end of 2016 was whenever I really started to bring more intention to my mornings. And it started actually with gratitude, because I read about gratitude and that it was a good thing to practice in the morning, that it would set up your day right. And it started from there. And what I love particularly about your book, and I think how it will really complement Find Your Flow, is the main reason I often hear like my readers and kind of audience, say that they struggle with gratitude is thinking of different things to be grateful for, like they write the same things or they don't necessarily, it's hard sometimes to really feel into it. And when you first started, it can feel a little unnatural because you're like, I'm grateful for my coffee. What? And you just write things that you feel like you should. But with Sunrise Gratitude, reading those beautiful verses, it gives you that deep sense of gratitude, and it's a lovely way to start your day if you are the type of person that's maybe new to a morning routine, or writing down that gratitude feels like a bit of a struggle, but you just want that uplifting reminder that you are a human being, that you matter, that you're worthy, that you're on the planet, that you're here for a reason, that there is wonder and awe all around you. I think reading your words in the morning really provide that, and it's a beautiful start to the day.
Oh, thank you so much. So 2016 was a big year for you.
Yeah, really big year.
So
Really big
a little bit
year.
about 2016.
2016 was the whirlwind year where, life looked good on the outside, but on the inside, it was cluttered, disconnected, just a bit of a mess, really, a chaotic mess. I felt absolutely frazzled. And that was when, the whisper started and then eventually turned into a roar. And I would just fall into bed at night, and I can just vividly remember it so well. This inner voice just speaking to me like, there has to be more to life than this. Just this deep sense that I wasn't on the right path, and I was following the path that was expected of me, that was the blueprint of what I should do, but it really wasn't making me feel good. And it was at that point then when I didn't know how to get off the treadmill. And I don't actually think you need to make this dramatic shift in your life that I did. I just didn't know any other way to do it. I kind of was running on the treadmill, knew I had to get off, knew that if I didn't get off, I was going to potentially burn out or make myself ill. So I just hit the emergency stop, the big red button.
Yes.
And sold my house, quit my job, sold all my stuff, headed off with my incredibly supportive husband, who, thankfully was on the same page, with our backpacks, with this dream and vision, I guess, of finding a different way to live, a way that we could achieve and fulfill our potential, but also feel that happiness and have the best of both worlds. And it's been the most incredible journey.
Yeah, I think hitting the stop button, the emergency stop button, it's exactly what I did. And, I don't think there's a blueprint on how to leave corporate life. But I think for some of us who are creative and we have that whisper that becomes a roar, and if we live in our heads, which I think writers usually do, it's like, okay, I'm just going to pull the plug. I'm just going to see what this will do. And I also think that sometimes when we have to slam our door shut for ourselves, it's amazing what paths become available to us, because it's almost like you have to shut out everything drastically. And I'm not saying everyone needs to do this, but sometimes everything has to just be taken away for you to see what's still around you, or what's been waiting for you, because it's like, hey, stop, I'm right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a friend saying to me at the time, when I was trying to describe why I had made such a fundamental change, because the people around me were like, is she just having some crazy midlife crisis? Should we intervene with her? And when I explained it to her and how I felt, she was like, I get it. It's like a sticky plaster won't do. You needed to just knock it all down. And I think that's what I had done up until that point, was just tried to plaster all the cracks together, but I just needed to let it fall. And that's what moving away did. I just let it all crumble, and then you get the joy to rebuild. So yeah, it's the best decision I've ever made. But I always comes with a caveat of, jump off the treadmill if you want, but there's also a different way if that feels a bit overwhelming. The most important thing in life is that we find our own path.
Yeah. And if you jump off the treadmill, you have to learn how to embrace ambiguity, because that is going to become your best friend, because you don't know.
Yes, ever.
And I think that's why find your flow is such an integral part of your daily your morning. For anybody
Mm-hmm.
who hasn't picked up this book, I highly suggest it, because especially with what's been going on in the world, there's so much ambiguity. We don't know, with COVID, we don't know when we can hug people, go
Yeah.
back to our offices. We don't even know if we have jobs. And so flow, I think, I feel like I almost invited the craziness of 2020 by picking the word flow into my life, because the universe was like, I'll show you how to learn how to flow.
Yeah,
All your
exactly.
plans out the window.
They're gone.
So I would love to have you explain your book to everyone and the psychology around it, because you
Mm-hmm.
are big in psychology. There's so much psychology in this book. So it's not just some thing that you came up with. It is backed
Yeah.
by science. So please tell us about Find Your Flow.
So Find Your Flow is like a beginner's guide to the psychology of flow. It's really simple. It's easy to read. You can sit on a Sunday as part of your self-care routine and read through it. But the most important bit of it is it outlines a journal system for flow that you can instantly action. So at the end of the book, you have a morning routine and you understand how to use it. And there's lots of journal prompts and tips and suggestions within it. But why flow over like any other journal system? Because there's a million different ones in the world, right? And rightly so, because journaling is incredible. Well, the psychology of flow and what makes it different is it's proven not only to be the secret to happiness, because when we're in that state of flow, our happiness, our clarity, our ability to be present in the now increases, but so does our ability to achieve. Research has shown that our productivity when we access flow increases by 500%. A study
Wow.
by Harvard had, 500% more productive. A study by Harvard found that we have 3 days of heightened creativity after we access flow state. And so flow really breaks down our happiness paradigm, the paradigm where we learn that me plus A equals happiness. So me plus once I get the job, once I lose the weight, once I find that partner, whatever that looks like for you, then I will be happy. And if you are the type of person who follows that happiness model, you're likely to, love a to-do list, love your sense of achievement, but you unintentionally, because I did this, is what you're doing is you're bundling up your happiness with that goal, and you're kind of just throwing it off into the future and saying, okay, I'll be happy once I get there. With flow and with the journal system, it integrates both. So it's a way that you can feel that deep sense of achievement and that you're building that momentum towards the future, whilst also feeling really present and happy in the now. And you can have it all without any sacrifice. And it's super easy to use. Just takes a few minutes in the morning and in the evening, and it's all based on proven positive psychology.
It's amazing. And one of my favorite parts of your flow system is the high value priorities, or I might be saying this wrong. You've got your high value and high flow priorities. So can you
That's
tell
right.
us about the two different priorities?
So that was a really important part whenever I was developing the journal system. So high value priorities are the things that you have to do that day, the things that are your urgent and important, your non-negotiables, that when the day ends, if you have to pay that bill, if you've got to send the email, if you've got to have that difficult conversation with someone, that you do it, so that you are preventing, future problems from happening further on down the line. And that's probably not so new to a lot of people. We have our to-do list and we check it off. But what's important with flow is that we balance that then with high flow priorities, things that we want to do, things that make us happy, that are just for us. Reading a book, taking some time to write that novel you always wanted to do, practicing meditation, going for the run, and also activities where you find flow, so that you begin then to structure your day around flow, and around this sense of ease and enjoyment in your work, and in your leisure time as well. So it just brings that harmony and serenity to life, and you purposefully integrate happiness into your everyday, whilst also making sure you focus on what's most important in your life as well.
Yeah, I actually found that recently some of my high value priorities were flow priorities, because I had to make
Mm.
sure that some of my self-care was something that I made myself do, because staying at home with my husband nonstop, it was so easy to just get into a lazy routine of
Mm-hmm.
not taking care of myself. So do you ever see that where the flow priorities become your value priorities?
Yeah, and yeah, I do actually. Um, I do like meditation, for example. Sometimes if it slips a little bit, I'll move it up into the high value priorities, just to make sure that I focus on that because it's really important. And I would say this about the journal system is it's a universal guide, but whatever works for you, I encourage people to play with the journal system a little bit, tweak it, change it, find out what works for you, because that's the most important thing in journaling. It's a bit like meditation where there's no right or wrong way to do it. The most important thing is that it works for you.
Yeah, I love that because one of the things that I skip over is the scheduling the day, just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so type A. And I would sit there in the morning like, well, what am I going to do between 7 and 8? So
Yeah.
instead, what I really like in the book and the system is the scripting of the day, because then
Mm-hmm.
my creativity can flow and I can really visualize myself doing these high value and high flow priorities. So tell us a little bit about scripting and why it's so important.
So the scripting aspect really brings your to-do list to life, because in life, it's not so much about what we do, but how we feel about what we do. So when you take then your priorities and you script, not necessarily all of them, you might just pick a couple and you start to script it into the day, paying particular attention to the language that your brain understands, which is what will I see? What will I hear? What will I feel? Then what you're doing is you're feeding your brain those feedback cues, enabling it to mentally rehearse the day. So not only does it know what to expect, it's more likely to feel those emotions when you're in that environment. So for example, if on your to-do list is that you need to give a presentation at work, or pitch to a new client, you can have that on your list, but we can really bring it to life through the scripting, because you can write that you feel confident, that you hear your voice be calm and clear as you give that presentation, that you see the members that you're presenting to nod their heads and smile along. And so because your brain understands that that's what progress looks like and it has the immediate feedback cues, it's able to be fully present in the now. It's less likely to wander into distraction or worry or fear. And that's what enables everything to flow, because when you have that intention, every thought, feeling, and emotion are in alignment with that intention. And so your energy is able just to flow and then engage in this beautiful feedback dance with the outside world. So when your inner and outer world really begin to combine. And it's got a huge amount of evidence behind it. It's used mainly by athletes in the performance industry to increase their sense of flow through imagery scripting, and the journal system just adapts that in a really easy to use way. And I love it. It's like watching a movie of my day before it happens. And then I love at night when I come back and I reflect, reading it back and being like, oh, that's so weird. That's exactly how I felt in that moment. So it's kind of magical in a scientific way.
I love that you're still seeing the magic in this process that you've created, because I think that's what's so beautiful about creativity. It just proves that we're like a channel to something else. And we're
Mm-hmm.
in our consciousness, we can see like, oh my goodness, I wrote that, or oh my goodness, that is so true. I'm so happy that I discovered that. Do you find that?
Yeah, I really do. I really do. It just, for me, because I'm a type A personality as well, I can become more obsessed with the doing rather than the being, but both are of equal importance to me. I love that my personality gets a kick out of ticking the stuff off the to-do list, and it
Oh yeah.
enjoys a sense of achievement. But I also know the shadow side of that is that I can go too hard and forget about the journey. And so the scripting just really brings me back to that. And it's just that lovely reminder each day as you read it back, how, and I know this phrase is bandied about an awful lot in the self-help industry, but how powerful you actually are as a person and how you can create your own reality. I think when you start to script, you see evidence of why those phrases are so popular and why people say that. because as you read it back each day, you realize things did unfold that way. And of course, if they don't, then there's normally a really valuable reason when it doesn't happen the way that you wanted to. And those little areas of resistance are little gems and little clues about you and areas that you need to work on. So it's not about getting it right. It's about enhancing your experience of the world and encouraging that sense of self-discovery.
And that's part of the nighttime routine, is seeing what didn't flow.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's a really important part of the process. It closes that flow feedback loop. So you write down 3 things that went well, and that really encourages you to celebrate your success. So if you are, a to-do list junkie where, you've got 20 million things on that list and, you've accomplished 90%, but you'll focus on that 10% that you didn't get done and be hypercritical of yourself on the inside, writing down those 3 things and celebrating your daily wins really increases your perseverance and persistence and your ability to give yourself that sense of self-worth. But also then 3 things that didn't go so great, areas that you could learn or lean into, or unconscious behavioral loops that you're noticing, like I wrote down every day this week that I was going to meditate and I still haven't made time for it. What's going on there? What needs to change? How can I maybe, get curious about how I'm structuring my mornings and change things about. And it's just that daily place that you can experiment, get curious about life, and really find your own rhythm and your own flow.
I love that, because it takes away the should and it adds the question, to the curiosity to why we do the things we do, because sometimes our shoulds aren't actually what we need to be doing. And so I love that when we reflect on the end of the day, like, why didn't I meditate, or why didn't I whatever, it could be because it's not actually a should, or it's not something we need to be doing. However, I think we need to meditate every day. But I love that reflection part, because then you can look at yourself and answer questions and do a brain dump before you fall asleep, because you don't want to go to sleep saying like, I should have done this, I should have done this, man, I'm so terrible, or the bad self-talk that we go through. You guys, when you get the book, all of her steps are in the back. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, you can practice it straight away. And some people are concerned about, well, if I write it down at night and I'm reflecting on maybe some of the things that I'm worried about, or some things that have unsettled me, maybe nighttime isn't the best time to do that. But research is actually showing that it helps us sleep better when we brain dump those worries and get it out. Not only that, we process it faster, because in our dreams and our sleeps, we're problem solving, we're making peace with it. So it may feel a little strange for some people to write down worries at nighttime, or, reflect on things that didn't go so great, but it's really powerful. And like you said, you get that sense of peace just to brain dump it all out, rather than tossing and turning at night thinking, oh, why didn't I do that thing? Be quiet, brain, calm down.
So tell me, what are some of your non-negotiables in the morning?
So journaling is a non-negotiable, and no phones is a non-negotiable. So, and that can be really challenging sometimes, because the temptation is to take it off airplane mode, but there is no phones in the morning, and as much silence as I can for the first, 15 minutes, no radio, just nothing at all, until I can really just wake up and understand, what mood I'm in, how I'm feeling, how I want my day to go, just allow the brain to come alive a little bit. And meditation. So meditation every morning is really important and pivotal to my day. If I skip on my meditation, I really feel it in all aspects. I feel that whir of the mind come up quite strongly. And so the 15 minutes meditating each day really does give me the gift of time and the increased clarity. And coffee is also a non-negotiable.
It's okay. With all your travels all over the world, what's your favorite coffee?
What's my favorite coffee? Do you know what? I'm not really a fussy coffee person. Just black, plain old simple black, no milk. Yeah. And
but is there
like
a favorite
something with Country? Oh, country. Yeah, I do like a Guatemalan coffee. Mm, yeah, nice
Plain
kind of
black
chocolatey
Guatemalan.
tones. Yeah, plain black Guatemalan. Yeah, nice chocolatey kind of tones. Oh, yeah, best way to start the day.
You're making me thirsty.
Yeah.
I just to go back to what you said about your non-negotiables, I think the airplane mode is really important because a lot of us use our phones to be our alarm or
Hmm.
as our meditation app. And if we aren't on airplane mode, all of the things, if we just go to say snooze, we can see all the things that have happened in the middle of the night. I also think notifications need to be turned off, but I love that
Yeah.
you take it on, you have it on airplane mode. But I want to know, after you decided this is my non-negotiable, how long did it take you to make that habit of no phone in the morning? Because I think everyone struggles with this.
Yeah, I would say it took probably around 8 to 10 weeks. So habits can take from 18 days to, I think it's 254 days to form, just depends on how strong the habit is. But a really good tip if you struggle is habits have a formula, which is cue, behavior, reward. So if you can switch up and make sure that the reward is really strong, then you're more likely to engage in the habit, which is why coffee has become one of the non-negotiables. Because when I get up in the morning, rather than reaching for my phone, my reward, because we get that hit of dopamine from our phones, is I keep it on airplane mode, I leave it in the room, and I go make my coffee in the morning, and that's the first thing that I do. So I've replaced one reward for the other. So think about something that is nice for you to do in the morning. Even when it comes to journaling, if you struggle with it, invest in a really nice, pretty journal. Set up your environment in a nice way that encourages you to do it. But most importantly, don't beat yourself up. It's not an all or nothing approach. So, the temptation can be, I tried not to use my phone in the morning, but it was too difficult. So I just stopped it altogether. If you're managing to do it, even 50% of the time, that's better than nothing, and just gradually build up. But don't be hypercritical.
Yeah.
If on the odd day you want to check your phone, then that's okay. It's not that strict guidelines. You just gradually build up until it becomes as effortless as brushing your teeth in the morning. It's just something that you do and you don't have to think about it. And that's a really powerful way to get habits to work for you, because good and bad habits are formed all using the same formula.
I love that. I did the same thing with coffee. I invested in the pour over.
Oh
So it
yeah.
actually takes me longer to make my coffee and get that reward as opposed to reaching for my phone, getting that hit. So now, because I really want my mornings to be super slow, because I do have
Mm-hmm.
that tendency to, what's on my list? What do I need to do? Who's emailed me? But now instead of the Keurig or just the percolator, I just pour the water over the coffee, let the coffee roast. And yeah, I
Oh
love it. It's
nice.
just really slow.
Oh, I love that. I think I might have to steal that idea. That's really lovely.
I want to read something that you wrote about gratitude and find your flow. It's on page 36. You say, morning grateful flow lets you take responsibility for your morning mood, helping you cultivate positive emotions at the start of each day and lay the foundation to find your flow. I love that. I think gratitude is so important, which is
Mm.
why I have two books on gratitude. But I'd love to know today, what are you grateful for?
Ah, there is so much that I'm grateful for today. I think I'm most grateful for, I just went for a swim in the harbor in the evening, and the sun was just hitting the water. There was people out walking, and there was that buzz back again after, COVID-19. Um, and it just felt like there was life in the world. And it was just so beautiful. And moments that, not necessarily would have taken for granted before, but you're so much more, you have a more heightened and real awareness of the world, and just seeing people out together and like with families again, and really taking that time to be in nature. It was really beautiful. So I'm really grateful for that today.
That sounds magical. You make
Yeah,
me want to come visit Copenhagen.
you should. It is the happiest, it would be a good research project. It's one of the happiest places in the world to live, and for good reason.
Do you feel happy you're living there?
Without doubt. Yeah,
Oh,
just the
wait.
structure of society here, and um, just the focus from the government is very much on well-being and people's happiness. So all the spaces are beautifully designed. Most stuff is free, particularly during the summertime. You can just access things, and you don't need to be super wealthy to go and enjoy the city. You can enjoy it for very, very little. Even small things that they do here, like the schools in the evening, they don't lock the gates or close them up. The playgrounds are open so that kids in the area can go and also use like the fabulous school facilities when the school isn't open. Just little things like that where they really think about the neighborhood and the personal space in the area and how to maximize that sense of community. So yeah, it's wonderful.
I love that. I think the sense of play is something that really helps with happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And, the adults and the children can access the playgrounds. I love that.
Yeah, and you do see both, definitely. The adults have like these little trampolines that are built in, and the adults are like jumping on them in the evening. It's so cute.
So good for lymphatic
Yeah.
drainage, even. We're
Yeah.
so happy over there. So where do you want people to connect with you?
So you can connect with me via Instagram. It's at the power to reinvent. Or you can head over to the website, findyourflowthebook.com, where you can get an overview of the journal system, read a little bit more, and connect with me via there as well.
You also have a free gift on your book website, right?
I do, yes. So you can claim a free gift if you purchase a copy of the book. It's a free goal setting masterclass for focus and flow. So it's going to show you how you can set your goals in a very meaningful way, and then also use the journal system to work towards them, enhancing your flow state and sense of unified flow as well. So you're able to live from that place of flow.
And you're an amazing teacher, so everyone should go out and buy the book, take her masterclass. But I'm also going to be giving away a copy of Find Your Flow to those of you that share and like the post on this episode. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been amazing, and I appreciate your time, and I'm so grateful for you. And anyone that buys Sunrise Gratitude, look at October 3rd, because I wrote that meditation just for Sarah, because she has inspired me with my word of the year. And I am just honored to be on the same writing team, because we both write for the same publisher. And it's just been very serendipitous. Our lives are very parallel, and
Mm-hmm.
I think our books just go well together.
They do. Yeah, they do. And I'm so excited for people to read this book. It's beautifully written and incredible. And it's going to change mornings in a really simple and easy way.
It's already changed mine. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.